In the chess game of global politics, the Middle East has become an increasingly powerful player. Nestled between three continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa, the Middle East possesses a unique geographical advantage that makes it a strategic pivot in world affairs. The region's significance is not just geographical, it's also blessed with vast natural resources, most notably oil. This black gold has been the lifeblood of modern civilization, driving economies and shaping international relations. The Middle East holds more than half of the world's known oil reserves, transforming it into a global powerhouse and a magnet for the energy-hungry world. The Suez Canal, another strategic asset, is a vital artery for global trade. Connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, it serves as a critical shortcut for trade between Europe and Asia, bypassing the lengthy and expensive route around Africa. This man-made marvel not only boosts the region's economic significance but also amplifies its geopolitical value. In the last century, the Middle East's importance has only grown. The discovery of more oil fields, the Suez Canal's opening, and the rise of new power dynamics have attracted the world's eyes to this region. It has become a focal point of interest for major powers, each vying to secure their stake and influence. The Middle East's influence is not just limited to oil and trade. Its cultural and religious significance cannot be overstated. Being the birthplace of major world religions like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, the region holds a deep historical and spiritual value that resonates globally. As we delve deeper into the 21st century, we see the Middle East's role in global politics evolving and expanding. With shifting power dynamics, emerging technologies, and the persistent quest for energy security, the region's importance is set to grow, not diminish. The Middle East, once considered the periphery of world affairs, has now moved to the center stage. Its growing influence is undeniable, and it's clear that in the game of global politics, the Middle East is not just a pawn but a player to reckon with. As the world thirsted for oil, the Middle East quenched it, paving its road to influence. Our journey begins in the early 20th century when prospectors first struck oil in the Persian Gulf. This discovery, akin to unearthing a treasure chest of black gold, ushered in an era of unprecedented economic boom for the region. A new dawn was breaking over the deserts, and with it came the promise of prosperity. But it wasn't just the local economies that felt the impact. The world's industries, now powered by this precious resource, were waking up to the immense potential of the Middle East. The formation of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC in 1960, marked a significant turning point. This coalition, initially made up of Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela, was a strategic move. It was a pact to control the production and price of oil, and with it, the world's energy supply. Through OPEC, the Middle East began to flex its muscles on the global stage. By regulating the flow of oil, these countries could influence economies around the globe. When they opened the taps, economies boomed. When they closed them, recessions loomed. It was a potent tool and they wielded it with precision. Yet this wasn't just about economic power. The oil boom also brought political influence. Countries that were once overlooked were now courted by world powers. Their leaders were invited to top-table discussions. Their opinions mattered. Suddenly, the Middle East was no longer a far-off region on the periphery. It was at the very heart of global politics. In the span of a few decades, the Middle East had transformed. The discovery of oil, the economic boom that followed, and the strategic formation of OPEC had all paved the way for the region's growing influence. The oil boom transformed the Middle East from a region of little interest to a pivotal player in global politics. The world had come knocking on the Middle East's door, and it had answered with a resounding yes. It was ready to play the game of geopolitics, and it had all the right cards in its hand. The Cold War, a battle of ideologies, turned the Middle East into a strategic chessboard. In the heart of this gripping era, the USSR and the USA found themselves embroiled in a silent tug of war, each vying for control and influence in the Middle East. The USSR, armed with its socialist ideology, sought to bolster its influence in the region. It extended its warm hand of friendship to countries like Egypt, Syria, and Iraq, offering military aid and economic support. Through this, the USSR hoped to create a stronghold in the region, a bulwark against the spread of Western capitalism. Concurrently, the USA, championing capitalism and democracy, wasn't idle. It too was weaving its web of influence in the Middle East, forming alliances with nations such as Saudi Arabia and Israel. The American strategy was clear: secure access to the oil-rich region, and counter the spread of Soviet influence. Caught in this crossfire of superpower politics, the Middle East became a theater for proxy wars. The Arab-Israeli conflict, the Iran-Iraq war, the Lebanese civil war, all were, in part, manifestations of this larger ideological battle. These conflicts, despite their local roots, were fueled and exacerbated by the Cold War rivalry. And yet, the Middle East was more than just a battleground. It was a region of critical strategic importance. Its central location, connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe, its vast oil reserves, and its religious significance made it a chess piece both superpowers desperately wanted to control. So, the Middle East found itself in the heart of the Cold War, not merely as a silent spectator but as an active participant, its fate intrinsically tied to the global balance of power. The Cold War may have ended, but the geopolitical significance of the Middle East continued to grow. Its role in global politics was solidified, its importance undeniable. The seeds sown during this era of ideological struggle would continue to shape the region's geopolitical landscape for decades to come. In the 21st century, the Middle East has emerged as a central player in the New World Order. The fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War has shaped a world where the Middle East, a region rich in history and culture, now stands as a significant global influencer. In the post-Cold War world, we've seen a dramatic shift in the dynamics of power. Non-state actors have gained considerable prominence, fragmenting the conventional state-centric global order. In the Middle East, these non-state actors have taken various forms, from militant groups to civil society movements, disrupting the traditional geopolitical landscape. One of the most striking examples of this is the rise of terrorism in the region. Groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS have not only caused chaos and devastation within the Middle East, but have also extended their reach to other parts of the world. The spread of terrorism from the Middle East has reshaped global security strategies and has placed the region under intense scrutiny. In 2011, the Arab Spring, a series of anti-government protests, uprisings, and armed rebellions swept across the Middle East. The Arab Spring showcased the region's hunger for democracy and freedom, but it also led to political instability and conflict in several countries. This wave of transformation further drew global attention to the Middle East and its potential to influence the world's political climate. Ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, such as the Syrian civil war and the Yemen crisis, continue to draw global attention. These conflicts, fueled by a complex mix of political, religious, and ethnic tensions, have resulted in humanitarian crises and significant geopolitical implications. They highlight the Middle East's critical role in global affairs, and its potential to shape future geopolitical strategies. The Middle East in the 21st century is more than just a region. It's a strategic and political battlefield that continues to influence the world. The complexities of the 21st century have only underscored the Middle East's critical role in geopolitics. As we move forward, understanding this region and its dynamics will be crucial in navigating the challenges of the New World Order. As we look to the future, the Middle East's influence in geopolitics shows no signs of waning. In the years to come, we may see a Middle East that is more interconnected than ever. Shifting global power dynamics could lead to a new era of regional cooperation. With the rapid rise of Asian economies, the Middle East could position itself as a crucial bridge between the East and the West, capitalizing on its strategic location and abundant resources. But this future is not without its challenges. Climate change, for instance, is a looming threat. The Middle East is one of the regions most vulnerable to the impacts of global warming. Water scarcity, extreme heat waves, and desertification could exacerbate existing social and economic disparities. However, these difficulties could also be a catalyst for innovation and transformation. Countries like the United Arab Emirates are already investing heavily in renewable energy and green technology, setting the stage for a potential environmental revolution in the region. The advent of new technologies will also play a pivotal role in shaping the Middle East's future. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, and other cutting-edge technologies could revolutionize industries from oil and gas to finance and healthcare. These advancements could also reshape the region's geopolitical landscape, creating new opportunities for cooperation and competition. Yet the Middle East's future is not solely in the hands of technology or climate change, it's also in the hands of its people. The region's young, dynamic population is its most valuable asset. Their ideas, their creativity, and their determination could be the driving force behind a new Middle East, one that is innovative, sustainable, and more influential on the global stage than ever. The Middle East, with its rich history and strategic importance, will continue to shape the course of global politics for years to come.